So in this video, I thought I would share my journey to why I quit drinking alcohol. The short answer is because I fell out of resonance with it. I didn't just one day decide to quit and then never touch it again. That wasn't my journey at all. It wasn't my experience. My journey to get to the point that I did finally stop drinking alcohol was really as twisty and turny as they come. When I was younger, I didn't drink. In my early 20s, I wasn't like everybody else who really got into drinking. I didn't actually start drinking until into my 30s, and I never considered myself to be an alcoholic, but I always felt that for me, I drank excessively, and I drank alcohol because of just way too much stress in my life, and I didn't know how to deal with all of life's stress. So alcohol was my escape. So if you are not familiar with who I am Iris Siriani. I am a self-love coach, and I specialize in helping people who do use drugs and alcohol as a way to cope with their lives and to step into their own spiritual journey like so many of us are. So as I said, alcohol was an escape for me. It was an escape from my thoughts, it was an escape from my life, and it was an escape from everything that I thought was wrong with me. And honestly, for the longest time, it really served me well. It helped me through raising 4 kids as a single mom. It helped me through the loneliness and feeling like I would never find somebody who wanted me and who was also able to also embrace my kids. I didn't think that that was possible for me. It helped me cope with a corporate career where I was on the road more than I was at home being with my kids, who at that time were young teens, and they needed me to be there and I wasn't there. So I had a lot of guilt about that too. Not to mention that particular career that I got into, something about it besides the travel didn't feel like it was the right career for me, but I ignored it, and I ignored it for the money. So moving on, in as much as it appeared to serve me, I found that my excessive alcohol use got me into situations that really could have gotten me into a lot of trouble. And the thing about these situations is, had I not been drunker than a skunk when they happened, I would never have put myself into these situations. I wasn't that person that got myself into very vulnerable and dangerous sometimes situations, and things could have gone horribly wrong. By the grace of God, I think I had angels looking out for me. Nothing really bad happened to me, but I was falling out of alignment with the life and the lifestyle that goes with so much excessive drinking. I didn't do drugs. I never got into that side of it, but it was just a lot of drinking for me. And I started falling out of alignment around 2017, where things really started to fall apart in my life. I was work stressed, I was money stressed, I was relationship stressed, and I was family challenged stress beyond stress. And there were days where I could hardly breathe, and I tried so hard to keep everything functioning, including myself. And I had no idea what was going on. I didn't like myself. I didn't like my life. And yet I was trying so hard to hold on to it. But here's the thing. Oh, no, 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 no. Things started to change in my life. I couldn't understand why. I couldn't understand what was happening. And I understand it now. It's God had other plans for me. It's almost like the angels and my guide says, okay, you are done with this. You've had this experience. It is time to move on. And so what happened is things and people started to leave my life. But actually, when I think about it, it wasn't that they left my life. I started to leave that life and that lifestyle. I'm the one that started to distance myself from different relationships that I had that really supported the life and the lifestyle that I had created. Was all about the hashtag mom life. You know, you did a great job with the kids here, celebrate or reward yourself with some wine, or let's go out and party and celebrate, or you did a great job being away and doing the work that you were supposed to be doing. And so it was almost like everything was a reward for myself. So eventually I started to pull away from that, and it wasn't even an intentional thing. It's something that just happens. And in its place, I became interested in spirituality. So I did a video about how when everything starts to change in your life, and life as you know it is starting to crumble down around you, that is a really good thing, and you should let that happen. Don't try and hang on to it, because there's something more coming for you and wanting to come through you. So as things started to leave my life, I became interested in spirituality. But here's the funny thing. As I continued to grow spiritually, I started to feel like I didn't want to drink anymore. But when I stopped, I felt very lonely and very isolated, because I didn't know how to be in social settings without it. It was the most awkward and uncomfortable feeling that I experienced. And when I did go back into drinking again, it made my life seem happier for a short blip. And then I returned back into a lot of guilt, and I'm not that spiritual, and what's wrong with me, and why can't I do this? And I would try and hide it. There was so much glommed up in all of that incorrect thinking for me. So I ping-ponged back and forth between drinking and not drinking. And then I would feel guilty for drinking, because somehow I thought that spiritual people are pure and they don't drink and they don't do any drugs. And that's simply not true. But I felt like an anomaly, and I felt very uncomfortable, not feeling really like I fit in anywhere. And I also didn't know who I was. My life and identity, like so many others, was created from the influence of my environment, my upbringing, my family history, and all of the people that had influence in my life. And we all experience that. But when you begin to wake up to your divinity, it's like peeling off one layer of heavy, wet clothing after another. It's like you get glimpses of yourself, yet the heavy, wet clothes are still on you. And sometimes you actually may even bend down and pick them back up. And this happened to me. So let me explain this. I had quit drinking and I was doing very well. I had gone on this soul searching journey after things just really fell apart in my life. And I was really starting to feel good because I wasn't drinking and I was really doing a lot of work to heal. I was reading lots. I was listening to a lot of spiritual podcasts, going to workshops, going to women's circles, all the things. And I was feeling really good about myself. And then I met somebody, and this person reminded me of how much fun it used to be and how much I could actually laugh and really enjoy myself in a way that was only familiar to me at the time, because I was drinking and because I was drunk. And I was always a happy, bubbly person when I was drinking. And so this person, we got together and we started having a lot of fun, and everything was revolved around alcohol. And it reminded me of how fun that used to be. And then it eventually caught up with me again, and I thought, wait a minute, I'm not being true to who I am. This doesn't feel good. And even while I was doing it, and this went on for several weeks, actually a couple of months, even while I was doing it, there was something inside saying to me, like, this is not you anymore. This is the old life and the old lifestyle. It's not you. And something was just not sitting right within me, but I wasn't listening to it. It's almost like I had to go through that experience to learn more about myself. And so everything was good until the next day, and then it would take me a week to recover physically and also psychologically and mentally. Hangovers for me became so excruciating that really they just weren't worth it for me anymore. And I carried a lot of guilt because it's almost like I felt like I had abandoned the person that I was becoming, and I was placing a lot of pressure on myself. I was reaching for my soul's next level, which at times can be very lonely. But again, I was given another opportunity to discover more of myself through this experience. And I don't believe that sobriety makes you more spiritual. For me, my falling out of alignment with the life and the lifestyle that accompanied my need to drink as a way to cope with my life was actually part of my spiritual journey. My ping-ponging back and forth between sobriety and drinking was part of my spiritual journey. And it's not like I've stepped off the spiritual journey. I think that once you start, it's really difficult to stop. You may get pulled off here and there to discover more of yourself, but the journey will continue to move you forward. So I hope that this video, I hope that me sharing my experience of learning to cope with life, following my own spiritual path, and really discovering myself and the divinity within me and living from a more true expression of myself has helped you in some way see yourself at any point in this journey. Leave a comment below, like and comment and subscribe to my channel, and share this video if you believe that it would be helpful for somebody else. And until the next video, take good care.